everybody, welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News, the show that may or may not be 5 minutes. Today in the news, the biggest story, right at the top, Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario, is stepping away from the role, going off to pursue other things, as Nintendo takes the character in a different direction. What that direction is, we don't know. Is it gonna be Chris Pratt's voice from the movie just put into Mario games? God, I hope not. But we will find out. That's really all we know right now. It is a pretty crazy day considering how long he was the voice of Mario for decades. And now, like all things, we move on to something different. Hopefully just as good, but different. In news of moving on to something different that is not good, Overwatch 2. The game's director, Aaron Keller, came out to address the review bombing happening over on Steam of the game following its Steam release, and it is not looking good over there. Ever since its launch on August 10th, the game has received non-stop barrages of negative comments, so much so that according to Steam 250, Overwatch 2 has now become the lowest scored game on Steam, thanks to over 135,000 negative reviews. On the official Overwatch blog, Keller wrote, "Although being review bombed isn't a fun experience, it's been great to see lots of new players jump into Overwatch 2 for the first time. Our goal with Overwatch 2 has been to make the game more accessible than ever for more people than ever before. Many of the reviews on Steam mention the cancellation of the much larger component of PvE that was announced in 2019 as one of their primary reasons for dissatisfaction with the game. I get that. The announcement was about an ambitious project that we ultimately couldn't deliver." And you know, Keller can call it review bombing. It does feel like review bombing, but also go there and read the comments. Most of what they're saying is true. And unlike Metacritic, for example, people on Steam reviews genuinely feel like they can express themselves in ways that sometimes get a little nasty and sometimes are a little like twisty of the knife. But it's interesting to see what people's unvarnished thoughts are on something, even if it is a little silly sometimes. Like according to Kotaku, the most popular review with over 25,000 helpful ratings is a declaration that the people who make Overwatch porn work harder than the people who make Overwatch. Which is clearly a jab and, you know, hardly fair. Making a game versus making source filmmaker porn is two totally different things. However, if you ask me, did it feel true when I read that? Did I laugh out loud when I read that? Absolutely. Which says a lot about the state of the game. When even if a jab like that, which you know deep in your soul, that's not fair. In reality, if it makes you feel like, ooh, that's a good singer, you know, that's a problem with your game. In other news, it appears that weeks before Starfield's launch, we're already getting some more Starfield drama, this time about the starting screen? Over the weekend, former Blizzard developer Mark Kern tweeted a screenshot of Starfield's starting screen saying, "The physiognomy," that's a $10 word, "of start screens." The start screen of a game can reveal a lot about how rushed the team was and how much pride they took in their work. Starfield's start screen either shows hastily shipping deadlines by a passionate team overworked or a team that didn't care. And for me, as a person who's really worried about this game and is afraid that it's rushed and just wants it to be good, even I am just like, that seems a bit judging a book by a cover-y, you know what I mean? You can read a lot into a lot of things, but it doesn't necessarily make it true. At least I'm hoping. This could be cope. You never know. The Starfield imagery is a planet and the rays of the sun coming around the dark side of it. It's space, right? You get it. It's the same thing as in The Last of Us just showing a window with overgrown leaves and vines and stuff. So of course, this got people talking online, and eventually Pete Hines, the head of Bethesda Publishing, chimed in. Or they designed what they wanted, and that's been our menu for years, and was one of the first things we settled on. Having an opinion is one thing. Questioning out a developer's care because you have done it different is highly unprofessional coming from another dev. The problem is, and it's a problem, devs gotta stop doing this. You are hurting your chances of working with other companies or getting other people to help work with you on a project of your own. Just shut up. Shut up. Stop talking on Twitter or X or whatever the hell that stupid thing is. Game devs, if you're going to complain about anything, complain about executives, complain about pay, complain about work environments, complain about anything else except the work of other devs. Anyway, it's Monday. We made it through an earthquake and a hurricane at the same time. So that must mean it's time for new releases. On Tuesday, what do you get when you blend fantasy magic with FPS gameplay? Well, it might look like Ascendant Studios' Immortals of Avium. Yes, in this fast-paced FPS, you'll take on the role of Jack, who joins an elite order of battle mages in order to save Avium from certain destruction. The footage we saw at Summer Game Fest was pretty interesting. It looks neat. It definitely should be worth checking out. And then also coming on the 22nd, WrestleQuest. For those of you thinking, hey, this sounds familiar. Well, yeah, I talked about this game at the beginning of the month. Unfortunately, WrestleQuest was delayed hours before release due to save-breaking bug. So now it officially comes out this week. It's wrestling, it's turn-based RPG, it's amazing. I cannot wait. And then, on Friday, of course, when I'm out of town, Armored Core 6 rolls out for release. This latest installment of a series that I love promises frenetic and fast-paced omnidirectional battles that span across massive stages, customization of combat styles, multiplayer, and so much more. I remember this being one of the biggest surprises of 2022's Game Awards. Tons of folks are hyped to see it return. I'm glad From Software brought this one back after 11 years. I cannot wait to see if it lives up to the hype. And before we wrap this up, hey, remember, over on Cox Clips, we got all sorts of videos for you. Oxenfree 2 is uploading, as well as a lot of Baldur's Gate. If you haven't seen it in my streams and missed out on the ludicrous stuff happening, oh my god, what a great game. Anyway, go check that out on Cox Clips, and I'll see y'all tomorrow for another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News.